Healthy living with Intermountain Healthcare.
All right, if your dream is to jump on a trampoline again after you've had a baby, you might need to see a urologist. We've got Haley Summerhays here. She's with Intermountain Healthcare. You're a nurse practitioner at Riverton Hospital.
That's right.
It is great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
You know, a lot of people, they hear urologist and they think, oh, men see urologists. Women need to see urologists.
Absolutely.
Why? Let's talk about a little bit of the background. What happens to our bladders, especially after a baby?
Well, after you have a baby, or even, just being pregnant, and even if you end up with a C-section, your pelvic floor muscles can be really stretched out, and you may need to see a urologist because you're having trouble controlling your urine. Although there's a lot of reasons why you may need to see a urologist besides just that.
All right, so let's talk about some of these issues that do affect a woman's bladder, especially after a pregnancy. I mean, we're talking about OAB. What is that, first of all?
OAB stands for overactive bladder.
Okay.
So that can happen with or without having a baby, but is more common as we age, as well as, all these incontinence issues can happen if you've gained weight or had a previous hysterectomy. But overactive bladder refers more to problems with the bladder contracting and having trouble controlling the urine.
Okay, so not only are we dealing with weakening muscles and tissues in the bladder, but then the overactive part.
Right, so you can have overactive bladder, but you can also have stress incontinence, which is more common after pregnancy because it has more to do with the mechanical aspect of the pelvic floor.
Okay, this is very complicated, very complicated.
Sure.
But we have to understand this is not a disease, right?
No,
what we're talking about here.
No, it's something that can be treated in a variety of ways, which is why we recommend seeing your doctor if you're having problems.
Okay, so that brings in the other factor, is the embarrassment factor. You're thinking, I have problems with my bladder, and that's embarrassing. You don't want to go into a doctor. Do you see that quite often?
Yeah, a lot. And a lot of women will wait years before they come and see us because they are embarrassed. But these are things we talk about every day, all day. So to us, it's not a big deal to be talking about these sensitive issues at all.
And how prevalent is it? How many women?
I don't have an exact number, and I think it kind of depends. It's hard to put your finger on because women don't always report these problems, and because there's a lot of crossover between overactive bladder and stress incontinence, it's hard to get the number right.
It is. I mean, we're talking maybe a third of the population could be affected with this,
Yeah, could be having
right?
some type of problem with their pelvic floor, which includes a few other issues.
All right, so where are those pelvic floor muscles that we're talking about within the body?
They form kind of a sling underneath your body, and the way I always describe it, if you think of it as a continuation of your abdominal muscles or your back muscles that just wrap around the bottom of your body.
Okay.
And they're about 3 layers thick, so they're pretty complicated, and this picture doesn't really even do it justice. It's a complex network, and if you think about it, we're walking around all day, there's a ton of pressure on that pelvic floor, and its main function is to help control our urination, but also to support those organs.
All right, so let's talk about those risk factors again. What makes us susceptible to some of these issues with our bladder?
So childbirth is one for stress incontinence, and multiple births as well. Weight gain, previous hysterectomy, with just more common with age, and chronic constipation as well.
Wow, interesting. So when should we see you? When should we see our doctor, our wonderful nurse practitioner?
So I always tell people that it really is a matter of how much it's bothering you, for one, because it's not life or death. But if you're having problems controlling your urination, you're leaking, if you have trouble emptying your bladder, you're experiencing chronic pelvic pain, any of those reasons would be time to see a urologist.
And are there treatments available? Is there help for us?
Absolutely. So it really ranges, and I think a lot of people don't come in because they're worried there's nothing I can do, or they think we're just going to try to talk you into a surgery. But it ranges from behavioral therapy, physical therapy, there's surgery, there's sometimes in-office procedures. So there's a lot of options for people.
Are there exercises we could do?
There are exercises, yeah. So everyone's heard of Kegel exercises, which I find that most people don't know how to access those muscles. It's really hard, which is why we often do recommend physical therapy to figure that out. But there are some other ways to try to control it when you're exercising. So we always tell people, try to exhale before you do your exercise. That takes pressure off your pelvic floor.
Great tip. Haley, thank you for being here. You know what? We're going to take the embarrassment factor out. We all have these issues, especially after babies. Now, once we've had those beautiful babies, how do we keep them safe? We have a wonderful couple guests coming up next. This is Intermountain Healthcare right here, and their website.